Here from the premier to the mayor to the prime minister chiming in on the story, concern for this 11-year-old girl's well-being and this incident happening. And we know Toronto police conducted a thorough investigation. They reviewed video surveillance. They spoke to people in the area, and they said something I think a lot of people didn't see coming, that this incident didn't really happen at all. So here's more from Toronto police.
This is rare in the city. I can tell you it's something that does not happen very often at all. These were very serious allegations, and I can't speak on behalf of other people, but we take serious allegations very seriously, and that's why we investigated. That's why we gathered all the evidence that we did. That's why we considered it very carefully before coming to the conclusion that we did.
So once again, the latest is that the Toronto District School Board says it is once again grateful that this incident didn't really happen. I can tell you some parents at the school as well saying they're grateful this didn't happen, but they're also confused as to why these false allegations were made. Now, Toronto police say this investigation has officially concluded. They will not be investigating any further, and no charges will be laid. Back to you.
My heart goes out to the young girl who was attacked, seemingly for her religion.
Yeah, certainly an enormous response indeed. I mean, it was a disturbing story which was treated very delicately, and here we are. We found out just after 11 o'clock this morning that, in fact, this did not happen. But again, Twitter really lit up, this time with the hashtag of hijab hoax. Here are several samples of tweets that we saw today. One coming from this user saying, remember, this is an 11-year-old child. She doesn't have the cognitive ability to understand ramifications of her actions. She needs help and support. Hashtag social media storm not appropriate. And again, hashtag be gentle. So that's someone there sort of calling on people to sort of ease up on these allegations or suggestions of the lies here. I'm glad to hear this didn't happen. Now I want to know the origin or motivation of the story and why it was so widely reported without first being verified. Even Justin Trudeau commented on this. Again, people wondering why everyone was sort of piling on or jumping onto the story and getting in.
My heart goes out to the young girl who was attacked, seemingly for her religion.
Into this. Prime Minister, please tell the country the truth, which is supposedly truth, about this hijab hoax. As Canadian, we side by each other to fight racism and discrimination. Now we need the true, again, probably truth, to make public to avoid more hate from being spreaded. So you got to apologize for the English there, but I think you can understand what's happening in that tweet.
My heart goes out to the young girl who was attacked, seemingly for her religion.
And then finally here, this tweet from Sophie Pascal. Some people love to be seen as victims and will stop at nothing, including openly lie to authorities with the support of the whole family to incriminate entire communities in the process. This is shameful and should be charged as such. Again, hashtag hijab hoax. That comment there about other communities, of course, the description of the attacker, which we know doesn't exist, was described as an Asian man. Some people say that was a really unfortunate way of describing somebody here, so that the Asian community should perhaps be, Steph, a little more outraged. Back to you.
Okay, Nick, thank you. Well, let's go over to Nathan now, who has more with criminal defense lawyer Ari Goldkind.
That's right, Ari. We talked about this story on Friday, and now the story has changed. First off, you read the statement from the school board. What do you make of that? It seems like they're sort of absolving responsibility.
I think so, and I think the Toronto District School Board has some explaining to do. First of all, the two women who really seem to relish their 10-15 minutes in front of the camera calling most Torontonians Islamophobes or potential racists and sending letters out all before this was investigated. This, to me, is a message, maybe from the place that's supposed to educate our young, about the danger of just accepting allegations on their face. That may apply to broader discussions today, but there's a danger of just believing everything at face value. I don't like that it seemed that they threw the media under the bus in that statement. It's the media's job to ask questions, but there was something bizarre about that press conference, no doubt.
And they did hold the news conference. Any legal consequences to any of this?
So this is where I sort of get even more roiled up. The family speaks to the media extensively. The young girl is well-spoken, and the girl who cried wolf, and I almost want to leave her out of this. But how now that we hear that it's a hoax is there radio silence everywhere? Radio silence from the TDSB, radio silence from the police, though they do deserve credit for putting an end to this today. That was gutsy on the part of the police, and I applaud them for it. But I think the public has a right to know what went on here behind the scenes. How did they get the hijab? Because if the hijab is a piece of evidence, there are legal consequences called public mischief, which is it's a crime to mislead or put the police off on a false trail. And I think a lot of people are also wondering, what, if anything, may be going on in that home that if that young girl came up with this story and it wasn't the parents, is there something there that Children's Aid or social workers need to get involved in? This is a worldwide story, not a local one.